Hello, gentlemen. Today I'm going to teach you what I've learned for nose manuals. This is my board. This is the... Look at that. So sharp. I actually dulled it down a little bit. I scraped it across the ground, but it's still so sharp. And this is the tail. This one's got it the worst because I do regular manuals more. Look at that thing. Alright, so I'm going to show you my foot placement. Front foot always goes right here, a couple inches away from the front. You see, you put just a little bit of weight and the back wants to come up. Alright, back foot. So let's get the front foot correct. Yes, the back foot can go anywhere between the back all the way to, I would say, a couple inches past the bolts. But what I'll tell you is this: the further back you are, the more control you have, but it requires more muscle to keep your back leg in place or up in here, because as soon as you put weight down on the back foot, the nose manual is over. Okay, so but if you were to put your foot closer in, it's much easier to pick the back up, but you have less control. This thing could spin out from underneath you, and steering for nose manuals is awkward because it's inverted. If you wanted to go left, you have to steer your back foot to the right, and if you wanted to go right, you have to steer your back foot to the left. And it's only in little bits, or else you just spin out. Alright, so that's that, and I'm going to try to do it in a stationary position so you can see where the balance happens on this front wheel, which is basically the front half of the wheel. All the balance happens on that front half, like that. You're basically teeter-tottering and stationary. Here, I'll show you that. Foot is in the center, in the front, like I said, not off to the sides, in the center, and you're really not even doing anything else except it's the pivot. It's the back foot that's doing everything. So if you just lift your foot up, your back foot, now you gotta clear to give up. I'll say this. The one fear we have to break is scraping the front. Obviously, when you do a regular manual, if you scrape, you just eat the board. But on a nose manual, if you scrape, the board stops and you keep going. So the first thing you actually want to learn to do is how to react to that situation. So you want to actually practice scraping the front and catching yourself. After that, once you break that, you break this fear of keeping your back foot up, and then you learn to balance here. Then you learn balance. Balance comes second, and then the steering comes third. In the beginning, you're going to find yourself moving and the board's just going to go left or right, and then you eventually scrape, or you're going to drop your foot. You're just going to keep dropping your foot because it hasn't learned to keep itself up yet. So when you're stationary, you learn to balance. Good balancing, the board just does this, and you're teeter-tottering in place. The same thing is happening when you're moving. You just don't see the backwards teeter-totter when you're in the forward motion. But it is there, you feel it. So I'll try to get a better angle. What you'll see me doing while moving is the same thing I was doing while stationary, because I am still getting that backwards pump in the balance. I'll show you that. Okay. It's still there. And you have to learn how to kick yourself forward too, or else you just drop your back foot. Probably the last thing I can demonstrate for you, because really everything else is intuitive. The balancing and the steering, it's all dependent on the terrain and your skills. You'll have to build yourself up. I think it's important that I show you proper exit strategy for when the nose stalls. You want to try to run if you can. If you're going slow, you want to just, probably have to catch your hands like that, but you should run. You don't want to just full absorb the impact. You do not want to do that. You'll actually destroy your legs. You have to learn how to safely exit the board when you're bailing. So, if you're going really fast, you're more than likely going to throw yourself forward. Like, scary. On that situation, you do not want to catch your hands like this, because you'll destroy the muscles here in the wrist. It hurts. I have that issue because not learning how to land properly. So the proper way to absorb a fall is to roll. So I will do that. I hope that helps you with your nose manuals and maybe take in falls in general.